for those of you that are new, this is the wheel, a divine idea in the mind of God, apparently. And it's a way to give the service back to you, because I opened it up for questions from the community so that I could actually be a vessel of addressing your questions, your concerns, rather than trying to figure out what you might need to hear about. That it's just like goes nowhere. So our overall topic this morning is, we're still finishing up the second step, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood God. And so now we're going to see exactly how we're going to contextualize that. How do we talk about good without thinking about bad? I give up. How do we do that? Let's take a breath together. So our overall theme for the year, first thing first. No S. There's only one. Come back here. There we go. There's only one thing that can be first. So, first thing first. We're doing the 12 steps and 12 traditions of recovery. No substance required. No outside group required. These are 12 steps and 12 traditions that really communicate nuts and bolts ways to practice spiritual principle in your individualized life and in your relationship life. The steps are about you. The traditions are about relationships. So this month, we're in, and it writes itself, right? There's 12 months, there's 12 steps, there's 12 traditions. It wrote, the outline wrote itself. It was easy. So the first 2 weeks we do the step. And we're in the second week, and so we're finishing up with made a decision to turn our will and our life over. Also known as surrender. Right? And then next week, we will start in with the third tradition, the only requirement for membership. And we'll take a look at that. And the fifth week, we have 5 weeks this month, will be a brunch service and a workshop format. I really encourage you to be here, and rest assured, I am figuring out a way to make sure that you online get a participatory role in this workshop stuff. Because inclusion kind of demands that we do that, whether it's easy or not. If inclusion was easy, it would never be part of the conversation. It would just automatically happen. But it doesn't. Okay, so this morning, what we're really talking about is surrender. Surrender doesn't have anything to do with quitting. It does not. Any surrender that has ever happened has been an agreement between two parties. That's a surrender. It's an agreement between two parties. Surrender simply means not having to fight anymore. I just don't have to fight anymore. I've entered into an agreement that frees me from the need to keep fighting. Guess what happens when we stop fighting? The thing that we're fighting gets to leave now. As long as I am engaging it in battle, it can't leave. And how many times are we fighting tooth and nail and yet mad at it because it won't leave? How many times we're engaging with it every minute of every day, from resistance to battle. And in that consciousness of prayer don't work. I've been praying for this thing to get out of my life for years, and it's still here. Prayer don't work. Prayer works fine. You don't work fine. Prayer works fine. You are the flawed component in this equation. you cannot let go of something you are locked into resistance with. You just can't. See, resistance can't even happen unless there's something there to resist. Just doesn't happen. So, if you want it to leave, stop engaging. Stop engaging. Doesn't mean you don't see it. Stop engaging. When somebody tells you something, if you instantly get hooked into the excitement of it, you might want to check your drama queen rating. You just might. Right? If your first thought is, ooh, I want to know more. Okay? Here's 1, here's 10, here's you. It don't make you bad. It don't make you good. It makes something operating in your consciousness that tells you there's some special value in that energetic hook. You turn your will and your life over to the care of drama every time you do that. Is that a power greater than yourself? You get to decide. Some days it might be. Some days we might be so sad and so disconnected that that's the only thing that makes us feel alive.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
It don't make you bad. And doing it don't make you good. This whole thing of how do we talk about good without thinking about bad, I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Because unless you have found a way to disconnect your brain from the rest of your body, right? Unplug it when you don't need it, plug it back in when you do. I don't think that's, we're conditioned, we are so deeply conditioned to think in opposites. We even fall into that teaching metaphysics. When someone's experiencing something they don't want, I hear people all the time tell them, well, what's the opposite of that? I do not teach that, and here's why. Because if you establish what you want based on the opposite, you are fixing what you don't want as the foundation for what you do want. Ooh, right? And you don't even know you're doing that. But the only way I know what I want is because first I'm tied to what I don't want. No. Something in you, the truth of you, the essence of you, the only reason there is you is to express. Just to express. Not to express X, Y, and Z. Not to express good and avoid bad. Creation just expresses. As far as I can tell, there is no operation in creation that creates a tornado and then goes, oops, didn't mean to do that. I don't think that's how it works. It just creates. That's how it expands itself. So what if it's true that you are this infinite creation in form here to express? That's why we have free will. Because otherwise, creation would just repeat itself over and over. It would have one expression, and it would just repeat that. And we wouldn't exist. This microphone wouldn't exist. This wheel wouldn't exist. Cheesecake and pizza would not exist. Right? Talk about blasphemy. The whole reason of creation is to express. This whole idea of my good is my God and my God is my good comes from Emma Curtis Hopkins. Read all of Emma Curtis Hopkins. Because she starts the conversation pointing out how we struggle to understand God. And then she goes on to point out that isn't it true that what we want, what we consider good, we make our God? And perhaps we would better understand God if we started calling God our good and our good our God. That's how it all rolled out. What we desire, we treat like our God. Now, let's be clear. That whole sentence is talking about a Christian God outside of us. The reality of it is the very desire to express is God,
Yes.
is creation,
Yes.
as you. And so what if we take good and bad out of it?
Yes.
Is creation really going to desire to express something against itself? I don't think so. I don't think one can be against itself. Right? So we can recognize if it's coming up, if there's even a question, if this is against something, you have your answer. Right? I was in a treatment center, gosh, late 70s, early 80s. And they were showing a video by a Catholic priest. His name is Father Martin. And Father Martin is talking about a radio show that he used to do. And he's telling this story about a young man that called into the radio station and went down all of his behaviors and all of his drinking behaviors. And he asked Father Martin, "Do you think I'm an alcoholic?" And Father Martin paused and he said, "You know, I really love green beans. I really love green beans. I eat green beans every chance I get. And when green beans are on the table, I eat as many of them as I can and still let other people get some. But I have never called a radio station to ask if I have a problem with green beans." If you're asking the question, you already know the answer. Just answer the damn question. It's that simple. You don't need somebody else to affirm that you're on the right track or the wrong track. You know. And every time you defer to someone else, what you're doing is affirming the lie that you don't know.
Yes. Come on.
You're anchoring deeper and deeper into the lie that you're not who you think you are. You're not who the soul of you, the activity of you knows who you are. And that's when we need a power greater than ourselves. Right. I'm going to wrap up with, anybody seen the movie Wicked? Let me grab my lyrics here. So we know at the end of the movie, there's all this whole journey, right, to get to the wizard. How many of us have been looking for the wizard, right, in our own lives, right? How many of us discovered the same wizard that is inept, incapable, can't cast a spell because can't even read the book? Anybody else found that? I found that wizard multiple times. They were called relationships. They were called meaningful relationships of which I had no earthly idea what the meaning was until years after the fact. Right? Most of them were relationships that could easily be termed as together we're a real nice person, because it was two broken halves trying to make a whole. Right? That's this whole journey to see the wizard. And then she gets there and Elphaba blows her stack. Right? She completely loses her mind. And there's this whole back and forth. I hope you're happy now. Right? Remember that part? I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. Guilty. Anybody else? Yeah. So I thought, though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy now. And it goes on, just apologize. Just apologize and you can still be with the wizard. And then the light comes on. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. Gravity is nothing more than a force that holds you down. Where do you need to defy gravity? Where are you being held down unnecessarily? And all you have to do is defy the gravity. All you have to do is turn it over to a power greater than yourself, whether that's a person, place, deity, energy, who cares? If you can't get beyond it, find somebody that can help you get beyond it. Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur. People will tell you that. When you step into the wholeness, the perfection, the completeness, the brilliance, the magnificence that you are in form, people will try to shut you down.
Yes.
And it ain't got nothing to do with you. Here's the best response I can offer you. When someone says you're shining too bright, turn up the lumens. You think that's bright? Give me a minute. Turn it up. Stop turning it down to make everybody else comfortable, or we'll just stop the center and open a big old codependency camp. Your job is not to make everybody else happy. Your job is to express the infinite as you and quit worrying about what anybody else thinks. Together, we're unlimited. You hear the song start? Together, we're unlimited. Together, we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Dreams, the way we planned them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. They'll never bring us down. And then it goes into, well, are you coming? Did I get the wrong page? Maybe. And then she says, no, I'm not. My mind has changed. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not interested in the limitations of the wizard anymore. I'm not. And so if you want to stick and stay, you go right ahead. I am going to defy gravity. I am going to leap. I am going to fly. The worksheet this week, I had fun making it. I hope you have fun using it. It has a quote in it from Jonathan Livingston Seagull. To fly as fast as thought to anywhere that is, he said, you must begin by knowing that you have already arrived. The trick, according to Chang, was for Jonathan to stop seeing himself as trapped inside a limited body that had a 42-inch wingspan and performance to be plotted on a chart. The trick is to know that his true nature lived as perfect as an unwritten number everywhere at once across space and time. When you stop buying into the limitation of your physical expression, you too get to defy gravity. You too get to fly. The only thing stopping us is our own limitations. Ernest Holmes said that the very mind that frees us enslaves us. Okay? Change your thinking, change your life. Now, that's easier said than done, right? Let's be real. That's great, Rev. So how do we do it? We do it by bridge building. And what I have given you in the worksheets is literally how to build a bridge. These are 4 steps from a bridge building website of how we build a bridge. Now, you got to know where you are and where you want to go to start with, right? Because in order to know how to build the bridge, where's the bridge going? It's going from here to here. Based on that, it determines how much support that bridge is going to need. And so it takes you through, this is where you are in your life, this is where you want to be. What kind of support do you need to get there? Right? Family, community. What kind of support is going to be your spiritual bridge? And then there's the bridge deck that we lay. And those are the steps that you're actually going to take to get across the bridge, to create a smooth pathway that supports you in walking across the obstacles that you think you can't get across. And finally are the safety railings. Because even when we're on our bridge, sometimes we lose our balance. So what are you going to grab for when you lose your balance? Who are you going to grab for when you lose your balance? This worksheet is designed to help you put those things in place so that you're consciously, intentionally turning your will and your life over to the care. The care. You're not surrendering to some impotence. That's not it at all. You don't get to go, okay, here you go, call me when my life is worked out. That's not it. You have to participate. It is, after all, your life. It be you. So do you, boo. Right? That's kind of how it works. You have to participate if you're going to get across the bridge, if you're going to cross the obstacles that are in your way. Just you and I, defying gravity, defying the things that hold us down. Every email I've ever seen from Eamon at the bottom says we're better together. We are. And we need to be together to do these things. If we were supposed to do it by ourselves, we'd be the only one here. Look around, you're not.